how's it going? My name is Jay and welcome to the channel and welcome back to Tacano Emergent Biopark in Jurassic World Evolution, a project where we're trying to build a biologically accurate dinosaur park and preserve in Jurassic World Evolution with the use of mods. Now before we get started, as always, just a quick note to say that modding is not officially supported by the developers of the game, and if you want to do so, please do so at your own discretion. But like I always say, modding is pretty cool, and I'm gonna say the modding community has been really taken off recently, and it's a really fun way to kind of like just really get a fresh outlook in the game. But again, do so at your own discretion, always back up your files. There's lots of tutorials out there, and of course if you'd like to get anything that you see on screen, links will be in the description down below. With that out of the way, let's talk about what we're going to be doing in today's episode of Tacano Emergent Biopark. Firstly, as you can see on screen, we're doing a bunch of really nice terrain work because the new terrain mods that we've got, like, well, it's not new now, it's been a few months, but they are so good. I just love them. The new scenery by Danny Bob, really top-notch stuff. Looks so good. The rocks are really allowed to create some really cool formations like we're doing in this little kind of alcove area here. Really great stuff. Do enjoy it very much. But besides that, we're going to be adding in two new species today, one being the Icthyovenator and the other being a small herd of Tyrannosaurus. Both species are really nice. One of them, of course, is a base game animal, the Tyrannosaurus. Well, not base game, it's one of the DLC animals. Still quite a cool animal. And both are modded. So the Icthyovenator is a new species by Ivan Bono, the link will be in the description, of course. And the Tyrannosaurus is just a retexture by Northfire, who's also done quite a lot of other work in modding that you'll see in this park, such as the terrain textures that you see on screen, which are, again, some of my favorites. So big kudos to Northfire, you always do really great work. Love to see it. And yeah, let's talk a little bit about the animals while we're doing this terrain work. So the Icthyovenator, of course, is a Spinosaurid, and because it's a Spinosaurid, it probably fed on fish and other aquatic life, which is why we're giving it a very wet, swampy habitat. And the Icthyovenator was discovered in Laos, I believe. Yes, Laos in Southeast Asia, which is not far off from where I'm from. I'm from Malaysia. Laos is not an awful distance away. And in Southeast Asia in general, we've discovered quite a few Spinosaurids. We have quite a few Icthyovenator specimens, I believe. I think like 2 sets of bones we've discovered. And we also have the Stylomosaurus, which was found in Thailand. And I remember like, this I cannot remember for the life of me properly, but I believe when I was young, I remember seeing something in the news about maybe like Spinosaurid remains potentially being found in Malaysia, but nothing came of it. It probably was just Stylomosaurus or something like that, because Thailand does link up with Malaysia at the border, so it could have just been that. So not entirely sure, but yeah. It's quite cool that they have Spinosaurids in this part of the world. In fact, you do find Spinosaurids kind of across that kind of band across the center of the world around the equator, essentially. You have, of course, the northern African species like Spinosaurus itself, Suchomimus. Then you go up into kind of Britain and stuff like that, you get Baryonyx. And then if you go into South America, you have things like Sigilmassasaurus, which might just be Spinosaurus. Oh, actually, sorry, Sigilmassasaurus is from Africa as well, and it's probably just Spinosaurus. I think I meant to say Oxalia? Yes. Yeah, it was Oxalia, which is found in Brazil. So you do have lots of Spinosaurids. Icthyovenator, of course, is quite a unique one, even among Spinosaurids, because of its weird sail shape. It's got that kind of dip in its sail in the middle, almost like someone took a pair of scissors and cut out a little bit of it, which makes it very unique, but Spinosaurs in general are always going to be quite unique. It's not difficult. They're all so different from each other and from every other creature, which is kind of why I love them. Spinosaurus, as you may know, if you watch the channel for much longer, if you've watched the channel at all, really, I talk about it way too often. Spinosaurus is my favorite dinosaur. It's a beautiful, bizarre creature, and I love it. And speaking of Spinosaurus, actually, let's not speak about Spinosaurus because I will go on a tangent. But speaking of Icthyovenator, the mod was again by Ivan Bono, and it's a beautiful mod. These animals have like a gorgeous tiger striping to them. Colors are great, the textures are great. Really, really would recommend this mod. Easily one of my new favorites. We'll talk a bit more about that in the live play section as well, which I actually just finished recording. Here now we're building the Tyrannosaurus habitat, which is just below the Icthyovenator habitat. And these guys are pretty cool. They also lived in Cretaceous Africa. I believe quite a few documentaries show them living alongside Spinosaurus, but as far as I can tell, they didn't live alongside them. They might have, maybe for a bit, but they're more known to have lived alongside other Spinosaurids like Suchomimus, which is actually what the Icthyovenator was based on, by the way. I don't know why I had to say that, but yeah. The Tyrannosaurus probably lived alongside Suchomimus. You had other theropods in the region like Eococoria, but you also had giant crocodilomorphs like Sarcosuchus. So that's an interesting place to be living. Probably would not want to be an Tyrannosaurus back then, with the amount of carnivores and giant crocodilians and, all sorts of things around. I believe they also had abelisaurids. Let me check. Yeah, there was an abelisaurid or abelisaurid, which is Cryptops, which is a cool name, by the way, for a dinosaur in general. But yeah, super interesting. They've also got a bit of a sail, and that's something I noticed, which I mentioned in the live section, is that I didn't realize at first. It was completely unintentional, but all the dinosaurs in this part of the park have sails. Like, it's a nice little thematic coincidence, I guess, because this park didn't really have much of a, there are no themed areas based on different locations or anything like that, so having a random coincidence like that was quite funny. But yeah, it does have a big sail. No one really knows for sure whether it was a hump or a proper sail. Could have been used for thermal regulation, could have been used for display. No one's really certain, though there are ideas being thrown around. And I think in the game here, the base game model I didn't use very often because the skin was a little bit too shiny. But the retexture here by Northfire looks really good. It looks really detailed and textured. Kind of gives it the feel of a large terrestrial herbivore, which I'll talk about it later, but it looks, it just looks really good. I'm very pleased with how it looks. Got a small herd of them in here, which we'll put in. Doing some rock work at the side now on screen that you can see just to kind of block off the entrance. Plenty of use of the invisible fence, of course. And I like that this habitat kind of acts as a bridge, because we are going upwards in this part of the park, and it's we had one habitat quite low, which were the raptors, then you have the Tyrannosaurus, and then right at the top you have the Icthyovenator and whatever else I'll put up there. So it's nice to see that kind of gradient as we go upwards. I feel like it's, even with all these tools, what I would really like in Jurassic World Evolution right now, and I mean, if any modders are listening, feel free to do, just get on it, but I don't know how difficult or easy it is. I'm not a modder by any means. Is custom buildings. That would be pretty cool, more guest stuff that we can decorate the park with it. But again, I have no idea. The modders are already putting out incredible work, and I don't really want to ask for anything else because they've already done so much. The modding community is absolutely spectacular. Just, they put out stuff so regularly, I am always blown away. So I'm not going to be greedy and ask for other things. Just build things at your own pace, and I will be thrilled with whatever you put out, basically. Anyways, that's the end of the speed build portion. I will see you guys all in the live section in just a second after we release the dinosaurs from the hatchery. See you then. Alright, here we are in the game, and as you can see, these are the two habitats we've been working on today, both for probably quite aquatic animals. Of course, the Icthyovenator up here, and at the bottom we have the Tyrannosaurus herd. Now with Tyrannosaurus, we're not super sure they were aquatic in any way, probably not, but imagining, because they did live alongside Spinosaurus and stuff, probably lived in a swampy sort of environment, so I'm happy enough putting them in a slightly swampier looking location. Though honestly, in hindsight, it's not that swampy at all. It just has a bit of water in it, which is fine. And as you can see, I've been going absolutely mad with the amount of different scenery pieces and stuff we're using. It's just because we really never had that level of creative control in Jurassic World Evolution space game. Now with the mods, the fact that we can do that, it's just, I'm having a blast. There's a few little areas I've included, like this little alcove here, just has some vegetation and a sign that shows that, oh, Spinosaurus in here. And of course we curved around these rocks as well to create this little enclosed area for guests, and they can come over here and watch the Concavenator. In fact, what I've realized is this entire area over here with the 4 animals has kind of almost become an area dedicated to sail creatures. So we have the Tyrannosaurus with the sail, Icthyovenator with that weird like double sail thing, the 2 Concavenator habitats with the doubles or with their double sails. So I guess thematically it kind of works. So let's have a closer look at the animals. Of course, very wet habitat for the Icthyovenator. Being Spinosaurids, it's super appropriate, I think. There's 2 of them over there. The skins are beautiful, of course, by Ivan Bono. If you want to check out the mod, link is in the description. Really gorgeous. I love the kind of tiger stripes here. They look really good, especially in the face with the black and white. Really stands out, and it's a beautiful skin. I think this is easily one of my favorite mods altogether. Just looks so good, and I'm a big fan of how it looks. Of course, based on the Suchomimus. The Suchomimus in the base game is already one of my favorite games. One of my favorite animals in the base game. It's done really well, and it's pretty accurate to what the animal is in real life. Hope he's walking through a rock, and he's emerging from the rock, so all is good. Even the hands are almost properly supinated. They're still a little bit too pronated for my liking. Maybe they could rotate it that much, I'm not entirely sure, but generally speaking, the Suchomimus in the base game is already really accurate, so having an Icthyovenator based on that works fine. And of course, here we have the fish, courtesy of Zach, who's modded it so we don't have that cage surrounding them. So it looks really cool when they feed from it. And I'll try and get some footage of that for the cinematics then, so you can see how they actually eat from the fish feeder, because I think it looks really cool. But yeah, I like having them both here. They do walk around together a lot. They don't really split off, which I think is really cool to watch. You can actually see them kind of hang out all the time, which is really nice. I put in the fish in quite a few places, and I think it looks really cool looking at them from above, just seeing the fish there. I think it looks really good. Of course, a lot of scenery that we've been using, the rocks, the logs, the tiny boulders. So good. Big fan of all the new scenery. By Danny Bob, of course. And now checking out the Tyrannosaurus. A little bit more of a basic animal, of course. Not a modded new species. A species we already had in the game, but still modded to have a new skin texture. And this skin texture is by Northfire, who actually does a lot of mods we use in the park. And who did the terrain mod, which is, again, my favorite terrain mod as of yet. And it looks great. I love the new texture. The skin all just looks a lot more like rugged and realistic. Really makes you feel like this is a large kind of herbivorous animal, kind of like a rhino or a hippo. Or even like, I think the name of the mod is Northfire's Cow Duck. And honestly, that's exactly what Tyrannosaurus is. It's a cow duck. And it is starving because I completely forgot to give it food. Let's put that in right now. Oh my god. I am a horrible dinosaur keeper. Let's see. This is another thing with the amount of scenery that's everywhere. It's very hard to find spaces for food. So let's put that down there, and they should all flock over in a second. So I put in a few different skins to represent like males and females, and then I left the alpine one in to represent like a leucistic or like an albino skin as well. So yeah, I think they look so good. Honestly, Northfire always does incredible work with his terrain mods, so you know, kudos, huge props to you. You like always do real great stuff, so big fan. And of course to Ivan Bono as well for creating the Icthyovenator. So that's it for today's episode. As you can see, they're all having a great time in the water here. They're enjoying themselves. And this section of the park is looking pretty complete, as you can see here. You can see we've done quite a lot of work here and there. I'm pretty happy with it. I've done a little bit of work over here as well, so I've just put in a couple more shops and a few extra parts just on the outside here. Probably turn this area into more of like a visitor type area. Otherwise, we're pretty much done with a lot of the central areas of the park. I'm going to start fanning out towards the side. So beyond where the Tyrannosaur habitat is, I think over here we're going to have a lot of Jurassic habitats. A lot of Jurassic animals I want to include. There's going to be a Seismosaurus being produced by LA Studio, so that's Leviathan and Aria. And both of them are making the Seismosaurus, and I believe they're also working on a Mapusaurus. So very excited for the Seismosaurus, going to include that here, I think. Along with a lot of other Jurassic animals, JFD's Torvosaurus for sure. Lots of creatures to be including over here, and maybe another guest area as well. On the other side, we also have a bit of space up here. And I think maybe another couple carnivores or herbivores, just kind of random ones just to fit in here before we end up getting towards where the operations center is. And then we're coming closer towards the end of the park, but I think I'll just keep it going and leave some extra space so that whenever we get a cool mod, we can just like put it in. And I'm really happy to still be playing this game every week because honestly, I'm never really bored of Jurassic World Evolution. Especially now that we have mods, I'm always happy to be playing it, so more than happy to keep going. Now without all that being said, let's just finish up on this really lovely shot of everything here. Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Please do like the video if you did like today's video. Do comment down below, let me know what other dinosaurs you want to see next, or if you have any mod suggestions, anything like that. Do subscribe for more Jurassic World Evolution videos every Friday at 5 PM UK time. And as always, I will see you all in the next video. Bye!